years. I've been dealing with so many people. I've been living in different countries, different continents, and I'm like, well, you're saying this means this, and that, but not necessarily. It depends on the context. It depends on the people. So I was always like feeling like something was off. And then when I read an article that was saying that 70% of New Yorkers wanted him to resign, and I was like, I can't believe this is true. So then I want to go and see for myself and be like, okay, let's hear what New Yorkers have to say. Because when like political things happen, no one cares about what actually people have to say. They say, oh, we're doing this for the people, but then, okay, are you actually asking the people?
Yeah.
And if you're a journalist, which is the opposite of what I want to do with this movie, when you're a journalist, okay, you maybe go on the street, you ask a question, and you say, oh, do you believe this, and that? And then what you're gonna answer? It's like you're not gonna give like your best answer in 2 seconds. Like to really understand what someone really think and feel, it takes a long time. So some of this interview ended up being like an hour and 30 minutes. So and some other were 10 minutes, and they would open up. Like everybody told me like how all these people feel very authentic and honest and real. So that's the thing. Like so that this movie was pretty much a response to that 70% of New Yorkers who wanted him to resign, which to me, from my experience talking to people, it wasn't really true. So it started small. I was like, oh, I have equipment, I just want to share some truth. And because there were a lot of people that I heard that were doing researches and stuff like that. So I was thinking, oh, maybe it's going to be like, okay, let's interview some people. I didn't know what I would get, because you just don't know what you can get from people and from the street or whatever. And so that was pretty much, I said, okay. But then when I started thinking about the project, I realized that there were so many conversations that need to be told through this. And then I was very lucky. I didn't know any of the people that I interviewed, so I didn't really know what they could give to me. And so I really improvised a bit there. And all these people, they gave me this amazing answer, and everybody was so wise in their own diversity. And so then I was like, well, this is really like a feature movie. This is like a long one.
Cool. That is very cool. And so I want to open it up to the audience right now. Do we have any questions from the audience?
What is your secret for getting them to open up and be authentic? Because I couldn't have sat through a 2-hour movie with people yammering, unless they were authentic. And also, what was your selection process, and how many people did you have to throw out?
So there is like destiny had a lot to do with this movie. I don't know. Like I'm just like. The reason why I decided to do this documentary also because I feel when I talk to people, like I'm someone that people can easily relate to. I'm able to talk to any kind of person and find something in common. So I was just being curious. When I was talking to people, I was just asking them questions and first asking them about themselves and just really to understand who they are and what they think. And sometimes they were giving me some answer, and then I was like going from there. But it was really a lot of improvisation. It's just like talking to people, and that I was so lucky to have found these people that really opened up to me, and I didn't even know who they were. And how I found them. So I was originally collaborating with some people that I found online. Long story, didn't work out very well. But then I was like, some of the people were contacted people that I knew. Other people were random people on the street. Other people were some expert that we contacted. So it was very random. But my selection process was just like, as long as they're New Yorkers and they want to talk about this topic, I'm open to anyone. Like I was not really trying to bring some voices more than others. I would have liked to have more Republican voices. It always ended up being like very much on the Democrat side, but at the end of the day, it's like Democrats against Democrats in this documentary, so it doesn't really, it's not a problem. But yeah, I was open to anyone willing to talk. Again, he already resigned by the time I did the documentary, so if you wanted him to resign because like you're a Republican and you don't like him no matter what, because you don't like his policies, like those people didn't really want to be interviewed and to talk about this topic. And it's also controversial, so a lot of people don't feel like putting themselves in front of a camera for a controversial topic. As I love the guy on the street where he's just saying like, oh, I can't say anything because like, yeah, I feel a little insensitive. So I was so grateful for him to be so honest, because that's where a lot of people are actually. So
that definitely is where a lot of people are. Is there anybody else in the audience that has a question? All right. So we'll take your question first, and then we'll take your question. And then after that, we're going to have to wrap this Q&A. Do you know whether or not Governor Cuomo has seen the film, or does he even know about the film?
That's a hard conversation. They know it existed, for sure. Like, his press person contacted me. He asked me for the link, so I'm assuming they watched it, but I never heard from them. So I don't know if they hate the movie, if like, when it doesn't want to talk to me, who knows. I would love to know what you think about it, but yeah, so far, I don't know.
How do you feel now that you've done the movie and you've got your message out? How does that feel?
You know, I'm never happy. I'm like a person, like, nothing is ever good enough. So honestly, like, I should be happy because like the movie, like, people are watching the movie, it's going around, and people are understanding the message, so it's great. But I'm always thinking like, oh, where it didn't go yet? What didn't happen to the movie yet? So like, I would like people to talk more about it and more people to watch it. So I'm always in back like a roller coaster. I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of myself, but I'm not good enough. So that's how I still feel. So, but yeah, but it's great that really people are liking it because this is all not liking it because it's not a movie that you have to like, honestly, because it's a really complicated topic. So it's not whether you like the movie or not. It's not about that. Liking the movie, it's really about if you learn something and it makes you think. That's all it matters. And when I talk to people, like every time like I talk to people about this movie, we start having conversations that last 1 or 2 hours, even with people that maybe they don't normally talk that much. So I think that's all really matters, and that's exciting.
So can I just respond to that quickly?
Yeah, I think for me, definitely, what it showed me is that we do really concentrate a lot on sexual harassment, and as women we have other strengths. You know, we really do. And it's like, I can't remember that lady with the black hair, she kept saying, Marsha. You know, why are we always focusing on that? Like, why aren't we focusing on our strengths? Why aren't we seeing a future for ourselves? We're kind of stuck there, you know. So I think that's what, you know, for me, that was something that we definitely need to process the pain, you know, because a lot of people have had sexual harassment and sexual abuse, and at the same time, we can still have a future, and we don't have to be victims and stuff there. So that's what it gave to me.
You know, like that's the thing. Like, part of the problem, I think, like people are really taking advantage of like women feeling like weak and not strong enough. And to me, what really bothered me about this whole project, not project per se, but the situation, it's like Governor Cuomo, he was actually very supportive of women. He was giving them great opportunities for them to really be a high-level position. And so he was always very supportive of women, and now they bring him down for this. And also, he has a lot of support in the black and brown community, like, and poor people really supported the governor. So to me, it's very interesting when people say like, oh, he was like bad for like women, he was bad for all these things. Like, he actually was more supportive to this population than many other people. So the question to me is like, so the people that wanted him down is because they care about women and other population, or the opposite? So I have a question too. So.
Right. What about that man Giuliani? He was an asshole.
Yeah,
Man Giuliani, and he was in there forever, and they didn't kick him out.
we try. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. It's going to be the end of our Q&A. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.